Hello, this is Pat Walker, Mission Winners, doing a video overview for everybody on the ETFs. You can see, Patrick, why do we look at the ETFs? It's not like because we like to look at a bunch of charts, okay? That's not it. It's because we have a limited amount of time and a limited amount of money. And it's important that we focus on where there's the best opportunities. And here's a fact. Leading groups produce leading stocks, and leading stocks produce leading groups. So let's take it from the top. This is in alphabetical order, and it just makes it easier. Here we go. You can always see the name up here, okay? Robotics. And you can see it lifted up here a little bit, but not on a lot of volume. And this is like what's going on with the market. It's picking up, and then it just kind of pulls back. But the important point is this chart doesn't look that bad. You could punch up BOTZ and see what their top 10 holdings are. Something to consider, all right? So there's number one, not a bad looking chart. Let's continue onwards. Cloud computing, now this is a bad looking chart. In 1 second, it says, I'm not going to look at any cloud computing stocks. Done. There's tremendous power in knowing what to look at and areas to stay away from. Cloud computing's not doing it right now. Leave it alone. Commodities. In 1 second, stay away from commodities. This is the daily, this is the weekly. Look, there's nothing good about it. By the way, the green line's the 50-day, the blue line's the 21 exponential, and the yellow line's the 8-period exponential. It's below the falling 50-day. Leave it alone. Diamonds, they're still choppy. There's not a lot of power here on the daily or the weekly. It's a poster child for what's been going on in the market. I have an important lesson for everybody. For those that don't know, I was an IBD meetup co-leader for 12 years, firmly ingrained in the methodologies. Something to take into consideration. People say, oh, look what the Dow's doing. The Dow is only 30 stocks. It's price weighted. It's not really representative to what the real markets are doing. So don't get too wrapped up in it. All right, I just want to share that with you. S&P 500 is far better, or QQQ or QLD. Here we go, or SSO. Internet. Now this one's kind of hanging in. This doesn't look too bad, does it? But it's still not up here. Needs to start lifting up here. Also noticed it fell on a pickup in volume. Also noticed, you see these red bars? There's more distribution. There's more selling than buying. Those are the things we look at Mission Winners. Is it rocket science? No, it's easy. Just look at the green and red bars and look at the green and red bars. Done. Done. And it's no power at this one. IBD 50. This is a good proxy for the IBD 50 is a great list of stocks. And I mean, a good list, seriously. But what's it doing right now? It's just a poster child for the market in so many stocks. It's not pushing at this point in time. Please note this. I'm not being negative. I'm just reporting what is. But that helps guide us for making better investing decisions. Make more money, save money. First Trust, Dorsey Wright, Tech. Nothing. There's nothing great there. Leave it alone. China, lagging. Leave it alone. Leave China alone. Gold miners, chopping around. Not a lot of power there. Be careful with that. Gold, not a lot of power there. Be careful with that. Biotechnology doesn't look too bad, but still not great. Oil and gas exploration. In 1 second, it tells you, I'm not looking at any oil and gas exploration stocks. There's great power in knowing that. Right? Things to concentrate on and areas to avoid. Technology. Now, this one doesn't look too bad compared to the others. You can say, yeah, I can see. And look, it went up on pretty heavy volume. So you can say, well, I don't really see a great setup here. I'm in agreement. However, it's telling you that technology isn't a bad place to look. Doesn't look that bad on the weekly either. Continue onwards. Medicine's kind of hanging in there above the 50-day resting here, but it's a little choppy, not a lot of power. Mid-cap. What does this tell you? Stay away from mid-cap stocks. Done. That's it. You'll see more about that in a minute. Aerospace and defense. No good. Leave it alone. U.S. homes construction. Now, this one doesn't look too bad, does it? What does this tell you? Oh, maybe, and it's been that way for a while, maybe I should look at some home building stocks, which is why I think we own at least 4 or 5 different home building stocks with good gains in them. And I'm not bragging, I'm just pointing out, connect the dots. Strength begets strength. In a crummy market, this has been acting okay, right? Here's the weekly, here's the daily. There we go. Growth, it's chopping around here a little bit, all right? Just trying to get going, but it just can't get off. Okay, but I want you to notice, on Friday, this took out the highs from a week ago. Growth, remember that. There's a reason why. Small cap, in 1 second, stay away from small cap, done. Real estate, not a lot of power there. I'd be careful with that. Transportation lagging, stay away from it. Airlines are grounded. I'm sorry, that's dad humor, I have to say it. Here we go. My kids would just shake their head. Okay, mid-cap, there's nothing great there. Mid-cap stocks, stay away from them. Oil services, leave it alone. Pharmaceuticals, it's okay, but not a lot of power, leave it alone. Dynamic software, lagging, leave it alone. Software. NASDAQ 100. Oh, look at that. That doesn't look too bad, does it? And isn't that interesting? NASDAQ 100. Gosh, what's in there? A lot of MAXLIST stock. What are we heavily involved with? MAXLIST stocks. It's showing strength. Here's QLD. Watch this. I'm just going to do this. No, that's not so good. No, that's not so good. That's not so good. That's not so good. That's not so good. No, that's not so good. That's okay. That's not so good. Oh, that's not too bad. Literally, folks, going through this list, I can go through this list. I'm giving it to you. You can go through that. I go through this a couple of times a day. Helps frame up the market action, where there's strength and where there's weakness. It helps guide us. But QLD doesn't look too bad, does it? Now, it needs to show strength. I'm not saying buy it here, but what else does it lead to? Oh, NASDAQ 100 stocks. Oh, yeah. Oh, and don't forget the MAXLIST. There you go. And you'll get a video on that too. QQQ, same situation. Retail's kind of hanging in there, but it's still a little sloppy and gappy. Not a lot of power there. Here's a very telltale sign. Down on heavy volume, and it lifts up on no volume. There's no power. Be careful with that. Silver. It's tarnished. Okay, don't hang up on me. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's telling you there's nothing great with silver. Steel, nothing. Leave it alone. Semiconductors, pretty much lagging. Not a lot of power there. Leave it alone. S&P 500, still not a lot of power. Needs to take out these tops right here. You see this bar right here? I'll put an arrow on it for you. The spiders need to stow some power. Above here, power, price, and volume. Until that happens, just be cautious with it. Same thing's true with SSO. Solar, nothing special there. Small cap, leave it alone. Uranium, there's no power there. Oil, another oil ETF. What does it say? What's it telling you? Stay away from oil. That's good to know. That's real good to know. Again, we all have a limited amount of money. We have a limited amount of time. They're two great assets. We have to use both wisely. Consumer discretionary, kind of hanging in here, but notice this. It lifted up, backed off. Gaps up and backs off. This is the daily. This is the weekly. Needs to take this out, okay? Needs to take this out and make a lift, all right? Just for what it's worth. But it doesn't look too bad. Now, what does that tell you? You can see consumer discretionary. Maybe there's consumer stocks to look into. Here we go. Aerospace and defense, grounded, leave it alone. Biotechnology is up. One thing I'll share with you. Biotechnology can be really good, but one bad news story can rock that sector in biotechnology. Always be aware of that, okay? Doesn't look too bad, just sharing it with you. Home builders, they're okay, but a little bit choppy. Materials, there's nothing good there. Look at the chart, leave it alone. Oh, communications. Oh, what is that? Oh, gee whiz, that's technology related. Oh, it's growth related. Okay, XLC, that doesn't look too bad. What would you want to see? Just taking out these tops. I have an alert set on it. Okay, but what does it need? Look at the weekly, by the way. It runs up and it tails off on a pickup in volume. That's why I have weekly and daily. What's it telling you? It's okay, but it needs to get going. In fact, I think we could say this about many stocks. They need to get going, right? And we let them tell us what to do. We let the price and volume action tell us what to do. And I love that. Energy, nothing great. Leave it alone. Financials, lagging. Leave them alone. Industrials, no power there. Leave them alone. Technology. I want to go back here and show you something. And that's not so good. And that's okay. That's not so good. That's not so good. That's not so good. Oh, that's not too bad. Technology, NASDAQ, big NASDAQ stocks. Let me think, what are some big NASDAQ stocks? Yeah, MAXLIST. You know them. That's where we're wrapped up in them. There we go. But I do have to stress, the market is sloppy. The M and mission winners, the market, don't argue with it, all right? This doesn't look too bad, but it needs power. It needs a good market. Here we go, we're almost done. Consumer staples kind of hanging in there. Now think about what consumer staples are. These aren't items that you don't need. They're staples, things you have to have. What do you have to have? Well, something like toilet paper, and I'm not trying to be weird here. These are staples, okay? Necessities. It's hanging in. Could you also say then, I guess, Pat, that's kind of a defensive type of deal, isn't it? Yes, it is. And you can see it's hanging in okay. Not a lot of power here, but it's all right. So it tells you maybe look at the consumer staple stocks. Easy for me to say. Healthcare, not a lot of power, leave it alone. Consumer discretionary, it's okay. Metals and mining, stay away. Oil, another oil ETF, stay away. Retailing, there's no power there. Look at that. Now, we talked about consumers a little bit, but guess what? Retailing doing nothing. So be cautious. There's a good story there. Software's lagging. Be careful with that. There's not a lot of power there, folks. You see that? So now we go to the MAXLIST stocks. Here's Apple. You look at that and you say, you know, that doesn't look too bad. I agree. If it can, by the way, we already have price alerts set. This starts to take out, starts to take out these highs right here in a good market. I can't stress that enough. The market's sloppy, leave it alone. I sit at the CIBD meetups for years. Just because the market's open for business doesn't mean we have to do business. Wait for your pitch. It will really help you. Don't think, a lot of people think, oh yeah, we're professionals, so we're always doing things. Yeah, you know what we're always doing? We're always managing, controlling risk. There you go. So that's Apple. Looks okay. Continue onwards. Excuse me, messed that up. We're going to do something real quick. Hold on just a second. Bear with me. My apologies. We're going to go back to it. Thank heaven for hotkeys, right? Here's a MAXLIST. Here we go. Weekly, daily. How about that? Taking it from where we were. So we've run through those. There's Apple we discussed. Amazon. Started to lift up, pulled back. We're in it. Okay. Needs to start showing more power. Okay. Here's a poster child for the market. It lifts up and they take it right back. You got to be cautious with that, folks. So what do you do there? A, you don't buy, or B, you buy less shares. And that helps you too. Okay. Now, this is outperforming the market, folks. It's something to bear watching going forward. Maybe you'll start to lift. Remember this. This is a fact, not an opinion. Strength begets strength. Focus on that. That'll help you. What does this say? Ain't nothing good going on with Alibaba. Leave it alone. By the way, has Alibaba ever been good? Well, here's a, excuse me, that's BIDU. Has Alibaba ever been good? Oh, yeah. Right here, that wasn't too bad. In January, that was a moonshot for us. And you can say, really? I'll give you a little coaching lesson here. Here's the base in January, folks. Look at the pickup in volume and off to the races. There you go. MAXLIST stocks. Love them. Continue onwards. This is currently now, and there's not a lot of power there, okay? BIDU, this was good back in January too. Look at this, sister stocks. Look at how they run. Isn't that neat? Watch this again. Alibaba takes off the week of January 6th. I want you to focus on the upper left-hand corner. This is the work we do at Mission Winners, and it works. What's the week there? Again, look right there. 1/6/23. Takes off. Gosh, I wonder if any others did. Oh, gee whiz, look at this. What's the date there, folks? Look up there. 1/6/23. There we go. Yeah, did we have it? Yes, we did. Now, what's it doing now? It ain't doing nothing. Leave it alone. Avoid it. Alibaba, nothing powerful there. Leave it alone. BIDU, nothing powerful there. Leave it alone. Google. Look at this base on Google. You can see it on the weekly. Look at the volume pickup on that weekly bar. Taking out these tops. Strength begets strength. And people talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. It ran up, pulled back a little bit. Oh, gee whiz, look at this bar here. Boom. Look at the volume pickup on that bar. People voted. Yeah, and we voted too. There it is. MAXLIST stocks. Love them. Love them. Also controlled risk. Price is good above the line and bad below. But it's working so far, so we're fine. And I'm thankful for that. Goldman Sachs, there's nothing golden about Goldman Sachs. Leave it alone. MasterCard, it's okay. It's okay. It's kind of formed a cup with a handle up here. And this is the high handle here. Possibly take that out. But again, it's a poster child for the market. It can't get going. Many stocks, they just can't get going. We don't argue with it. We simply get in line with it. Tells us what to do. Meta doesn't look too bad. Look at our entries on Meta back here. See the clean and simple base breakout? See the volume pickup on that bar? That was our first buy right in there. Bought more. Trends pay. Bought more. Sells into strength. Look at this. And again, there's the weekly. In a crummy market, back that up here a little bit. There we go. It's working. We've sold some into strength. We're in good shape. Price alerts are set. And watch what I do. I'll share a tactic I've used for years. There's my lower alert. Don't set your, I'm asking you, please don't set your lower alert at the lows of the bar. Set it a little early so that if it does start to fall, you will be alerted to it before it hits the lows of the bar. That's a great tactic I've used for decades. By the way, note the upper alert. It's not at the highs of the bar. It's a little bit early. That's good to know. It looks fine right now, but what's it need? Well, I'd like this to base a little bit longer and then take out the highs, and I'm going to draw this for you. This is my gift for you. Clean and simple flat base. Maybe it's going to base for a little while longer. The market starts to straighten up, and this takes off. But I said something very powerful there. The market starts to straighten up. Market's kind of rough right now, so I'm just sharing this with you. Please err to the side of caution. Don't get mad at the markets. Don't get back at the stocks. Don't try to get even. Control risk. That will really help you. Microsoft doesn't look too bad. Look at the entries down here on the weekly on Microsoft. And in here, there was more. Check this out. Clean and simple flat base. Volume pickup. Goes up, stops, clean and simple flat base. Taking out the highs here. Goes up, on volume, buys. There we go. That's it. Now look at it now. It's still fine. Everything's fine. We sold some into strength. Everything's fine. Price alerts are set. We'll just let it work and see what it does. Note the trend up the ADMA. I'm not saying buy it now, okay? I'm just pointing out the tactics so that you can use them too. Now look at this and look at Netflix picking up here a little bit. I'm going to go back here and do something for us real quick. There we go. Get that right. And now we go here. There we go. Look what Netflix did. You could say, boy, that baby's going. I'm going to shrink this for you. This is a great lesson. And here's what I'm going to do too. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to redraw it so the lines are just connecting the highs, nothing fancy. By the way, folks, this is important. Don't think you got to get it to the penny, okay? Just get close. And you can see highs here, high here, high here. I guess we could say hi ho, hi ho. Okay, I'm sorry. Going sideways. By the way, I need to just share this with you. It's very serious what we do, but enjoy it too. Have some fun with it, all right? It's good to, laughter is a good thing. I'm speaking from my heart. Have a good time. I'll remember my trading partner. We had a stock, it was 20 years ago, and that thing went up and it started to drop, and I'm talking to him on the phone. I go, boy, look at that sucker drop. And this is all he says. Well, that's not good, is it? That's it. That's not good, is it? You know, and we laughed about it, you know, and then we acted accordingly. So here's Netflix going sideways, rallies up to, you know, resistance here, and it hit it again Friday. Look at that. Charts have memories. I'm going to talk here for a minute. Charts have memory. You can say, what do you mean by that? Who makes the decisions on these buys and sells? Humans. Humans have memories. Drops here, runs right back up. You ever think there were people that bought this higher and then watched it drop down here and go, good Lord, what did I do to myself? I don't believe this. And then it rallies back up where it started to fall, right there. And you think they said, boy, oh boy, look at this, Doris, or look at this, Bobby. We're near our price. We need to sell that baby, right? And it starts to drop again. And then it rallies back up and it stops again. Who do you think's selling here? People that bought it here that didn't sell and watched this happen, and then watched it go all the way back up, and then people who bought it here and didn't sell and watched it drop, and then it does this, and they go, the people that bought it here go, thank heaven it's near my price, I'm selling. Human emotions reflected in the charts. There it is. That's a great lesson, folks. Human emotion psychology is reflected in the charts. And don't overthink it. This isn't rocket science, okay? We're not doing Freudian stuff here. We're just taking a look at the charts, all right? I just wanted to share that with you. That's important. Yeah, and I got a degree in psychology too, so There you go. So, but what's the best part here? Maybe, look at this chart. Maybe it will form a handle. How about that? Wouldn't that be neat? Form a handle and then go across these tops. That may be a good setup. We'll watch and see. Continue onwards. NVIDIA, we own this from down much lower. First buy was down here. This is on the key list. Down here, we'll call it 163. Here it is at 283. Let me think here. Oh yeah, that's 120 points. Good entry and trends pay. There we go. Sold some into strength, in good shape. Now, it's basing here again. What would be nice? And again, we always have a plan. Maybe it's going to base here for a while and then take off again, bouncing off the rising ADMA. That could be a potential buy. Look at this base right here. I'll draw it for you. Simple flat bases, folks. It's nothing fancy. Look at that. And I'll lift it off. Look at the volume pickup on that bar. I'll make this bigger for education. Look at the volume pickup on that bar. Now, what's interesting, you go, yeah, it went up and it went right back. What have I said several times in this video? The market's kind of sloppy right now. So you have to be quicker to sell some into strength. There you go. And it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everybody knows it. Everybody does it, which means the stocks don't make as big a move. But eventually, it'll settle down and we'll get another good base breakout and the sellers won't show up and sell and we'll get a good lift. When is that going to happen? I don't know, but it will. It will. I guarantee it. And you're not supposed to use that word in the investments community. I guarantee it. When? I don't know. But until then, we wait and always control risk and never argue with price. That will keep you in the game for your entire life if you do it. So here we go. Let's continue onwards. Maybe it's going to base here. We'll see what goes on here. Tesla, there's not a lot of power here. Here's a good lesson for you. I taught this at the meetups for years. And it sounds corny, but it's the truth. The air is better above a rising 50-day moving average line. That's the green line. The air is better. Right now, there's just not a lot of power. Notice what it does. It gaps up, runs up near the 50, the green line, and it backs off on a pickup in volume. Just not a lot of power right there. You just got to wait. There we go. Visa is basing here. Here's the weekly. Look at that chart, folks. I'll tighten this up for you. Watch this. Look at that. There's a long base there, folks. Maybe it's going to take it out. By the way, notice there's the weekly, and here is the daily. Take out these tops, and I'll do something for you to help you here. Watch this. We're just going to shrink this baby. And that's close enough. And we'll just do this. You can see this clusters of resistance there. That's close enough. Needs to take out that line of these highs here. This is daily. And do it on volume. Now, here's a good lesson for you. This is what we teach all the time at Mission Winners. And this isn't fancy stuff, by the way. None of this, all of this is simple and conceptually correct and should make sense to you. I think a 6th grader would understand it. A 5th grader would understand it. Even I do. And that's pretty neat. It goes up and it rallies up and it falls. See all these people that bought it up here? They said, thank heaven it's back near my price. I was down big. I'm selling. Eventually the sellers disappear. Any buyers push it through.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.